So I thought I'd just do a quick video on the Florida shooting. Not so much on the shooting itself, but on all these self-righteous left-wingers who want to impose a gun ban in America in the wake of said shooting. Now obviously I don't live in the US, so perhaps I'm not the most qualified to speak on the matter. However, I do live in the UK, which obviously does have very strict gun laws. I thought I'd just make this point as a quick rebuttal of the left-wing attempts to grab the guns in America. About 4 or 5 years ago, there was a shooting, I think it was a policewoman actually, who got killed. And at the time, there was obviously the usual, oh, we need more stricter gun laws thing. And to be honest, you can't really get much stricter in the UK unless you completely outright ban them. Obviously in the UK, you can get a firearm certificate, you can own guns. In fact, you can even own up to a 50 caliber rifle. Most people don't know that, but you can. It is possible with the correct certification. But anyway, getting back to the point, there was obviously this renewed attempt to try and get rid of guns in the UK completely this time. And so I remember I actually went and wrote a blog article about this situation, let's say about 4 or 5 years ago. It turned out that with the statistics in the UK, once you've taken out the stupid kids that are shooting their neighbour's cat with air rifles and the retards trying to rob post offices with BB guns, the vast majority of the firearms offences were done with handguns. Now the funny thing is that in the UK, handguns have been completely illegal since the mid-90s, I think 97 I think it was, that Labour, after the Dunblane massacre, completely took away the right to own a handgun. Now obviously, I think this was about 2013, so if in 2013 there was still a majority of what I would deem real firearms offences being done with handguns, doesn't that mean that the gun law in the UK even doesn't work? Now if it doesn't work in the UK, where guns are very, very rare, imagine just how difficult it would be in America, where you still have a very strong gun ethos in America, and also there are more guns than people. The only people that a gun ban or a stricter legislation will affect in America will be the people who are upstanding citizens who do everything by the book. Anyone who's crooked or a criminal will not be affected. So it's a pointless conversation, a pointless argument. My argument as a side point will be in this particular case, this individual who went on a rampage, as with 99% of all of them, has come from a failure to act, the authorities, a failure to act on people who have in the past shown aggressive tendencies or psychotic tendencies, or just people who are depressed. In fact, I think a lot of it comes from the mental health issues that have arisen more and more in modern day society because there's a sense of isolation. And I think, obviously, particularly in mental health, there's a stigma attached. And I think if people were perhaps found it easier to find help on that aspect, there would be less of these shootings. And in fact, getting back to the point of statistics, I think the majority, if I'm not mistaken, the majority of gun deaths in America aren't homicides, they are in fact suicides. So again, this ties in with societal impact, where it's not necessarily the guns causing the problem, it's the society that's raised those individuals. And obviously this guy who's shot all these people up was obviously not all there, so perhaps society is somewhat to blame in not having the correct procedures and network there to help people out. So I think with the internet especially, society these days in the modern world feels very disconnected, everyone feels very insular, and there's no sense of community anymore. And ironically, as another side point, a second side point if you like, another problem in America, as is with majority of countries that has any gun problems, this comes from mainly low IQ Africans running around trying to imitate the kinds of cultural ideals that Hollywood has decided to try and get young African people interested in. I'll leave it at that. And multiculturalism. Again, and multiculturalism feeds into the idea of not having a homogenous culture or society there, which is there to network and help integrate people who are perhaps struggling financially or mentally or anything like that, really. So I don't necessarily see the gun laws ever changing in America. They certainly haven't done a lot in the UK in that regard. So in fact, I think violent crime has gone up in the last 10 years. So basically, society is the problem, not the guns. That's about it. Obviously, if you want to comment, leave a comment and we'll have a discussion going. Otherwise, hopefully you'll stick around, subscribe and all that usual shite, and see me in the next video. Thank you very much.